snooker fans, welcome to episode 35 of this, the 15 Red podcast. Scott McCarter from Northern Ireland and County Tyrone, and I'm in the chair tonight, and I am joined by Mike in Vancouver. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, everybody.
And a very good evening to Mr. Graham Drayton in Burton-on-Trent in England. Good evening, Graham.
Thank you, Scott, and good evening to you. I think that's the first time ever you've used my full name.
Indeed. And good evening to our very special guest this evening, Kellie Barker. Good evening, Kellie.
Hello, Scott. Hello, guys.
Hi. Can you hear us okay, Kellie?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. It feels like there's a bit of a delay on. Don't know what's going on there.
Well, there might be a slight delay, but we'll not worry about that.
Okie dokie.
All right. So
right, to Scott then.
Yep. Get some news and notes, Scott.
It looks like
yes,
you know what we're doing.
Well, first of all, I believe we've got some news and notes items for us. Mike, you've got some things for us first of all.
Yeah, no, the news we were just going to go over today was how about Barry and beating Judd Trump yesterday?
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a
tremendous
surprise.
Tremendous result for Barry there. I didn't think, like we were saying yesterday in the show, that we didn't think he'd overcome Trump. But there you go. He's done the business.
He has.
What did you think, Kellie?
I don't think anybody thought Barry would actually win yesterday, but he was the better man. Judd had a real off day, and if you don't play your best these days, you're on your way home, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said.
Yeah.
So, also, we have a snooker birthday today. Graham, do not say.
Oh.
It's Rory McLeod's birthday today.
Wow. Have we all got the cake and candles out?
Exactly.
No, Kellie, I think Mike's asking me not to sing.
Yeah, that was the first thing. But
I don't know what's wrong with me singing voice because I sound American. it's because I sound American.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Happy birthday, Rory. There you go. How's that? Is that all right?
So Scott's got something to talk about. Alan McManus blog. So,
Yes, I don't know, you might have seen this, Kellie. I don't know whether you saw it, Graham. Alan McManus, who writes an occasional blog, he wrote a blog on Rhiannon Evans and on Yi getting tour cards for next season. And, he was just putting to bed some of the very distasteful remarks that certain people have made on social media. And I think, to be honest, he was absolutely right there. In his concluding words, they are damn good snooker players. And they deserve to get the chance to play on the tour.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Everybody should have a chance, regardless of what gender.
I agree. I think I was a little bit against it at first. I was wondering whether they really were good enough. But I think looking at the bigger picture, I don't think they're worse than some of the bottom end players on the tour. And, I hope they do well and prove people wrong, I think. Because especially Rhiannon, she's been so good for so many years. Let's give them a go, and they keep giving Jimmy a wild card, so why not other people as well sometimes?
Yeah, I think I concur with that, Kelly. I think Rhiannon deserves a shot now. I think it would be great to see her in the first round of the actual championship.
Definitely. She's put up some good performances in the past. I mean, nearly beat Shaun Murphy. She beat Robin Hull in the World Qualifiers a few years ago, and she really played well. And she was 8-all with Ken in the World Qualifiers a few years ago. Should have gone 9-all. And I think I think Ken needed a snooker to not be 9-all, but he got it and pinched the frame. So yeah, I think if maybe this could have come a few years ago, but better late than never. And I think everybody, once they're on the tour, hopes they do very well. And the World Qualifiers will be very interesting for her because she plays Andy Hicks, who she played last year, and it ended up being a bit of a damp squib last year. But I'm sure she'll be practicing hard for this, and yeah, we'll wish her all the best.
Yeah, absolutely.
So today, what do you guys think of the first session of Robertson and Mark Selby? Anything that stands out? We'll start with Kelly.
Well, I'm surprised Selby was so poor, really. Couple of really bad break-off shots. Never really got going. And I think the scoreline's about right. I was expecting him to go out in front and win the match beforehand, but Robertson's done the business and Selby hasn't, unfortunately. Hoping for a bit of whoever wins tonight, I just hope it goes a bit close and we get some late night snooker.
Yeah. Graham, what did you see?
Well, I think with Robertson out of practice for a bit, he hasn't been involved in so many tournaments this season because he dropped out of a few. Selby's the old experienced hand, of course, and I think it is a bit of a shocking result at the moment. Yeah. I think, like Kelly was saying, I think it should be closer with the experience that, like I say, that Selby's got. So yeah, I think Selby will come back I think he will come back at him.
Scott?
Surprising, but not surprising in a way, because if you look at their matches this season, Robertson's won all 3 of them previously, albeit not terribly comprehensive, albeit the UK was 6-2, but and Robertson went on to win the tournament in that, and of course he's leading 6-2 now, so he should probably win it from there. But I do hope that Mark makes a bit more of a match of it. And if he's watching, Mark, for goodness sake, improve your break-off shot.
Well, we were saying yesterday, weren't we, about the Trump Hawkins game? It is like making a prediction on it now. You can't make a prediction because Hawkins just got through against him. So we predicted Trump. We all predicted Trump. So there you go. That just goes to show you how much.
Hold on a second.
What is going on with this?
Yeah. So with Ronnie and Barry, with such a lopsided head-to-head, does anyone think Barry has a chance
to beat Ronnie?
To beat Ronnie tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to say with. Sorry, Kelly, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think Judd was the most massive favourite of all the matches in the first round, and we got that one wrong. So I don't know if we can predict anything for the semi-finals.
Yeah, that's just what I was referring to. I think, we, like I say, we all thought Judd would win, and then Hawkins came through. It's very surprising.
Definitely. Barry has it in him though. Every now and then I think he's still sometimes underrated, especially in the long game. He's just never write him off, but you never think he's going to win the tournament. But he'll always be there or thereabouts. And Judd had a real off day yesterday. Barry played well, and I was a little bit disappointed in Judd with his comments after. I'm a big fan of Judd, but just occasionally I think he lets himself down a little bit. He's, best player in the world, really, but, he was going on about Barry's luck, but Judd had a couple of pearlers, flukes-wise, and he just had to accept he wasn't on his game yesterday.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, given that we previewed everything, we'll move on. We've got a couple of questions for you now, Kellie. Just a couple of general questions, I think.
Scott, can I just interject 1 second? We've got a few comments from Dan Cowham that says depends on which Ronnie comes out tomorrow. With regards to his match with Barry. And the other one was Dan again saying Rihanna's played, what we were saying about Rhiannon Evans, Rihanna's played in the World Championship qualifiers in years gone by, and he says that he agrees with you there, Kellie, that they both deserve a chance to play. We're talking about Rhiannon Evans.
Definitely, yeah. Hopefully they'll both, even if they lose, I think as long as we get a good show from them, and it'll give them a better confidence, give Rihanna a bit of confidence going into next season. Then she'll be playing in everything, and just a good performance would do her the world of good, really, win or lose.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, we're just going to ask you a couple of general questions, Kellie. So, how did you first get into snooker? What was your introduction? What was your...
Well, when I was a kid, I always used to go and stay at my nan and granddad's in the school holidays, and they had snooker on once, and I just took to it. I just loved it. And interestingly, I saw that one of you posted this morning the 91 Masters final has come up on YouTube. That's the very first match I remember watching and taking proper notice of. And I remember we watched the afternoon session and Hendry went miles behind. And I think the final wasn't on TV live. And so I don't remember watching the night at all. But the next day, but we just assumed it was over, Hallett was so far ahead. And then the next day, I remember my granddad reading a newspaper and there was a picture of Hendry with the trophy. And I was like, wow, he never won that. And I think we were all amazed. And I just had this fascination with the game and I loved it. And, back then it was only the BBC channels and maybe a little bit on ITV. But every time there was a week of snooker on, it was a brilliant week and I was just glued to it all. And I think not long after that, I think I had to have a tally for my bedroom because I just dominated the tally downstairs whenever snooker was on. And I think they were glad to send me upstairs out of the way.
That must have been like living in a parallel universe, that, Kellie. Because one minute you're watching Hendry going far behind and Hallett building up his lead, and the next day Hendry's won it, and you didn't even get to see it. I think we've got bad connection problems here, guys.
There we go.
I think we have. Should I try on my phone instead of the laptop?
No, well, I think we can hear you now. You're all right.
Okay, but yeah, that 91 final. I always say that if Hallett had have won easily, I might not have been quite so interested in it. But I think Hendry's comeback, it was just wow, and yeah, I just loved it ever since then, and especially the World Championships, 2 weeks, morning, noon, and night. Yeah, they were great times, and yeah, but you know, I loved it then, and you know, I was still at school then, and but yeah, as I got older, I just thought I want to go to the tournaments, and yeah, so it took a few more years, but yeah, finally went to a tournament in '97, which was the Charity Challenge final, Hendry and O'Sullivan. And
you weren't there for that.
Deciding frame, Hendry made a 147. So that was my very first match I ever went to. So yeah, I was blessed really, and you know, I got their autographs and a photo after, and yeah, I was 16, and it was just the best day of my life at the time. And I was allowed the Monday off school to travel back home, and yeah, I was just totally in love with it, and yeah, that I left school that summer, and I just knew that the next thing I wanted to do was to go to the Crucible. That was my ambition.
And you went, if I'm not mistaken, in 1998. Which was the year I was born.
Yep. Wow, that makes me feel old. Yeah, it was amazing. I got some tickets. I lived in Stoke-on-Trent then. That's where I was born and bred. And that, at the time, my dad worked on the railway, so we had free trains, and so I used to go for mornings and afternoons that year. I went for about 6 days, and absolutely loved it. And you know, walking in the Crucible for the first time, just looking all around, and yeah, it's just the best thing ever. I think everybody who's ever been there, the first thing they think when they walk in is, "Wow, isn't it small?" And
yeah.
And you know, I remember I was up near the back on the first time I was ever in there, but I remember looking down to the front row and seeing all the regulars who were there every year, and I was like, wow, I'm really here because they are here. And yeah, I thought, wow, I'll be one of them one day, a regular. And but yeah, I've got great memories of '98. I just, yeah, it's fantastic.
So with all what you've said, who is your favourite player?
My favourite of all time has always been Stephen Hendry. Maybe it was because of that Masters final, the comeback, and you know, he was a good-looking young man, and yeah, so it was always Hendry. I think I had a bit of the everybody loves Jimmy as well, so I love Hendry. There was probably a bit of that going on.
Yeah,
but yeah, he was.
I think
it was fantastic.
Jimmy Whitebone.
So yeah. Well, I love Jimmy as well. It was just that when he played Hendry, I always wanted Hendry to win. Although I remember that '94 World Final. That's the only time I wasn't over the moon when Hendry won, because I was very upset for Jimmy. I could have cried for him, but
yeah,
you know, I remember the next day I'd put all that behind me, and I was glad Hendry had won then.
By the way, just to let you know, we've had some fans messaging. Doug Moore, good morning, lads, and Mom.
He's from my neck of the woods.
Doug. We've got Keith Walker. Hi, Kelly. Of all the venues you have watched snooker, Which of your top 3 venues? I'm pretty sure I know what your number 1 will be. So what's your top 3 venues in all the venues you've been in?
Oh, well, number 1 has to be the Crucible. It's just the most magical place. And
Yeah.
if I never went to anywhere else again, it would have to be the Crucible. Other venues. It's hard to say because the Crucible is so far out in front of anywhere else. Probably nearly everywhere is joint second, really.
No.
But the Crucible's just miles out ahead of its own. I would love to go to the Tempodrom in Germany, and because everybody says how good that is. That's a little bit of a bucket list thing. Yeah. Cardiff, as a tournament and as a city, Cardiff is always a great one to go to. It's a good venue. Yeah, and it was the same at Newport as well. It was always well attended, good fans. We have some great nights out, especially in Cardiff city centre. And I think a lot of fans make the effort to travel to that one because it's just a good place to go and spend a weekend or a few days. So probably Cardiff and the Welsh Open is my second favourite. And York Barbican is always, a good weekend as well. It's a nice venue, nice, lovely city.
Yeah, Mark Wilcox says Preston Guildhall was a great venue.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good few years since I've been there, but it was a good one. It's probably so long ago now, and I didn't go there often enough in my early days that it's really up there on my favourites list. But I think if it was still there now and we could still go every year, then it probably would be. But maybe it'll reopen again sometime.
I think one of my regrets, because I was too young at the time, but I didn't get to the Wembley Conference Centre. I wish I'd have gone there because that seemed fantastic atmosphere there.
Yes, that was really good there. I went there once. Good.
Yeah, I never managed to get to there either. I never went to London before. I never went to London for snooker before I moved to London, and so my first Masters was the year after it had gone from the conference centre. But that would have been a cracking place. It was a full circle, the comfy seats, and just the atmosphere for a Ronnie v Jimmy match. I'd love to have seen Alex Higgins at his, in that kind of venue, or the Crucible actually, because it was live when Alex played, and Jimmy and Ronnie. I've been lucky enough to see Jimmy and Ronnie over the years, but I think Alex brought something else to it, and I'd love to have seen Alex.
Even Dan says Wembley Conference Centre was amazing. It's such a shame they demolished it. And Dan Carib also he relates to that final as well. He said Hollett led 7-0. He led 7-0 and could have won 9-2, but missed a pink with the rest into the bottom right-hand corner. Could have won 9-2. And I remember on the highlights reel they actually showed that, and Mike said, "Have you got a piece of rope?"
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Probably haunting holiday, guys.
Yeah. Kelly, were you there for the semis in '99? Were you?
I was there for some of the semis. The mornings and afternoons, I didn't do the evenings back then, and it was before I did the 17 days there. So I was there for some of them. Yeah.
But what a lineup it was that year. I mean,
It was amazing. You know what? 99 is one of my best years, actually. The standard was incredible. And and I'm sure you'll know, Mike, that rain stopped play briefly during the Higgins-Williams semi-final.
Yeah.
Yep. That's in here. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
In the book. He's in the book.
Oh,
Yeah.
If it's in the
That
book,
amazing.
it must be true.
Yeah.
Exactly. But one of the finals that I always go back to, Kelly, I've mentioned it on other podcasts, is the Ebden Hendry one, 2002. That was just amazing, that final.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that final gets a little bit forgotten about when we talk about the classics, and you know, it's one of only 3 that went to a decider. People forget how well Peter Ebden. People forget how good Peter Ebden actually was. I think he gets tarred with this slow play brush, but he was actually really good to watch. You know, he was a great shot maker and shot getter. He went for the unbelievable sometimes, but I think he doesn't get enough credit as he deserves. And I think that tournament, that final isn't perhaps as remembered as it deserves to be.
Yeah. Fair enough, but I certainly agree with you.
I thought it was tremendous the way that he won that final frame decider after missing that black that he should have won the championship on that frame previous. I always think that how Ebden was, he battled away to win that final frame. He recovered so well.
Oh, I mean, he must have had balls of steel to win that decider after missing that easy black. I mean, you know. Yeah, but credit to him, and he won me £50 as well. I had £5 on him before it started, so I always remember that.
Sorry, Scott, you continue there. Sorry, I had to interject with a few histories there.
Yeah, well, I was just going to ask about, those semis in 99. If there was one sort of session or one set of matches in Crucible history that I could go back to, it would be those 2. I mean, what a lineup and what a standard between the 2 semi-finals. It was superb.
Yeah, I mean, I think people do remember it, but that session between Ronnie and Hendry, it was the Saturday morning, and I think they traded centuries backwards and forwards, and Ronnie missed that pink on 1-3-4, and wow, I mean, for a morning session at the Crucible, that was, it was amazing atmosphere, and but I suppose at any time of day or night, Hendry v Ronnie was always something pretty special, and it was a tremendous match. And in fact, the Hendry and Ronnie was so good and took all the headlines. Again, I think perhaps the Higgins-Williams match was slightly forgotten about, because to me that was just as good.
Yeah,
both played great.
Before we came on air, I was looking through the almanac at the figures, and dear me, that Williams Higgins was just as good.
Oh, definitely, yeah. In fact, I think it was that year that made me think, wow, I really want to go to a Crucible final, because the lineup that year of the semis, you knew whoever was in the final, it was going to be brilliant. And the semi-finals was the end of the tournament for me. And I remember thinking, wow, I really want to go to the final. And but yeah, I didn't manage it until 2003. That was the first time I did the 17 days up there. And but yeah, it's just a magical place to be. And yeah, some of the best times of my life have been spent in the Crucible Theatre.
Yeah.
This
then-
match will probably be in the book, Scott. But I've just had another message here saying Dan was at the Crucible for Ebden's first match in 1992 against Steve Davis.
Yeah, which he won 10-4.
10-4 and played absolutely superbly.
He did.
Dan was there for that one.
Yeah.
So do you have?
And I think, Mike, you've got you're going to test Kelly and I's brain now.
I will. Can I just?
Oh, the stats
Kelly?
battle.
So do you plan to go this year, Kelly?
Yes, I've put my name in the hat. I bought tickets originally, and we got an email asking if we still want to go or if we want to transfer them to next year. I've said I want to go. We're just waiting to hear now whether they say yes, you've got them. I suppose it depends what capacity they want, and however many people say that they want to go. But I'm dying to find out if I'm going. I keep looking at accommodation. Obviously, the hotels are still going to be closed, but you can rent a flat. So I've been looking at places, and I would love to be there. I haven't missed a year since '98, since I started going. And with all that's going on in the world and how the last 12 months have been, it would be a real lift the spirits to be able to go. So fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Okay.
and good old David Jackson. David Jackson goes from Australia, doesn't he? Always sits in that same seat in the front row.
Yes, yeah, he's a great bloke, Davis. Yeah, and keeps making that journey after all these years. So hope I'm still going when I'm his age.
All right. So it's. Have you got a pen and paper?
Oh, I'll just grab a
I'm
pen.
just going to turn the light on. We're just going to turn the light on.
Yep. Scott, you got your pen and paper ready? I've got 10 questions. Okay.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Okay. You're ready?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay.
Graham, you got you're ready?
Oh, yeah. Hang on. Yeah, I have a pen and I have some paper.
Question number 1. Who was Paul Hunter's last pro match against? Who is his opponent?
I got it. Yep.
You got it?
Yes.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
already got it. Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Question number 2. Which player was nicknamed the Silver Fish?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this one, but
Don't say it. Don't say it.
no, I know I'll not actually say it, but I'm thinking it.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Question number 3. Jimmy White has been to 6 World Finals. What 2 other players have equaled that feat? Sorry, lost in 6. Sorry, lost in 6 finals.
Lost in 6.
Yeah, he's lost in 6
right.
finals. Which 2 other players have equaled that feat?
Oh, right. Okay.
In other words, lost in 6 World Finals.
Yes, World Finals.
Oh, who's lost it?
What 2 other players equaled that feat?
Do you mean got to 6 or lost 6?
Lost.
Good grief.
Have you got him?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got the answer.
It must be. Now, you must be going back a bit here, are you?
A little bit, but you know the names. They're not obscure names. I promise you.
Huh.
No.
Oh my God. I love
Wow.
those questions, I really do.
Okay. Are you good? Good.
Yeah.
Number 4. Who did Neil Roberts in the final to win his first?
When his first ranking event, did you say?
Sorry. Can I just say before you carry on, we've had a question for answer number 3.
What is it?
Which 2 players? Yeah, and the question from Doug is the answer is given is David Beckham and Wayne Rooney.
Doug.
Oh dear me. That's not correct.
Okay, is Kelly with us?
I don't know.
Oh, Kelly's
Oh,
back.
she's gone.
She's left the room. You have to ask her to rejoin, Scott.
Oh, we'll have to start again.
What do you mean we have to start again?
No,
We
you just
can't let
recall.
her-
You just recall her, don't you? I'll do it.
No, we can't let her in unless, because we're on live, you see.
We can. We can.
Are you
I've
sure?
called her. Yeah, I've
Are
called
you
her.
sure somebody else lost 6?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that.
Now, Jimmy White has 6 world wins with 6 world finals. What 2 other players have equaled that feat? Yeah, that's the question.
Lost them or been to 6?
Been to 6.
Oh, well, that makes it easier then.
Okay, you know what? Let's just scrap that question.
No, if it's been to 6, it's easy, but if it's lost 6.
It is lost. The way I read it, it was lost 6.
All right.
That
Yeah,
it was lost 6.
We might have to start again because Kelly's gone.
Okay, should we just delete this one and start again?
No, we'll not start the whole thing again. We'll put it up as part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So we'll be back in a moment. We're gonna reconvene and start the second part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that.